This video is brought to you by AudioQuest, makers of the Dragonfly range of USB DACs. Click to AudioQuest.com for more information.
What do you buy the hi-fi enthusiast who thinks that he or she has everything? In this video, I'm going to detail 5, 6, maybe even 7 things that you may not have thought of as being what I consider to be essential accessories. We'll kick things off with this little white thing here. A couple of years ago, my neighbour, who lives behind that front wall there, she came over for a cup of tea. And she sat on the couch, and whilst I was making tea, she kind of shouted to me, "This room is full of too much electricity," she said. And what she was referring to was the Hagel H590 integrated amplifier, which was sat just here, and it was humming. And it was humming because of DC offset coming through the mains. Now what that means is basically what should come through the mains wall socket is AC electricity, not DC, AC. But for many different reasons, and if you know why, and I've got a good way of explaining it, let us know in the comment section below why DC gets into our mains, or how it gets into our mains. Because what it does to amplifiers is a little bit problematic in that it saturates the transformer and it causes the transformer to hum. It can also have an impact on the transformer's performance and maybe on the quality of the power supply that follows it. However, I won't go there today. But the problem that my neighbour was pointing out was that I had transformer hum in the Hagel. But then when I got the Audiolab 6000A Play recently, it too hummed. Its transformer hummed. You put your ear near it, it hums. So one of these, this little DC blocker, what it does is it sits between the power termination of the power cable and the IEC socket on the amplifier, and it filters out DC. And it strips away any transformer hum, which I think is bloody fantastic. And this thing is about 140 bucks. Transformer hum really bugs me. I don't have to put up with it anymore thanks to the iFi DC blocker. And maybe you need one too. The Reliable Corporation in the USA sent me their UberFlex light about 6 months ago. And I put it on my hi-fi rack and it looked weird, it looked too dominating, even though I was trying to illuminate my turntable, it just didn't look right. So I had it as a desk light in my kitchen for a good few months. But when I put in the Riga Planar 8 turntable after my room renovation, when I put that in, I thought I would try the light again. You can see it behind me. It's shining down on the turntable's platter. I think this light looks absolutely fantastic. The flexible nature of the arm is just superb. It feels really tough. It can be bent into almost any shape. But what's probably most useful with it is that it has 2 buttons on the head of the light. And one button gives us 3 different color temperatures, and the other button gives us 3 different light intensities. So I can dial it down in the evening, I can dial it way up if I want to check how much dust is on a record. But you can also see it fits very nicely with my Kallax unit. So for me, this is an absolute win. It's $59 US. I think it's way better than the IKEA little light that I used before. I also understand that the Reliable Corporation is in the process of putting on distributors in countries in Europe. Right now, it might be a bit difficult to find, but in the USA, no problem. Another essential accessory, I think. If you're a cover art enthusiast, so either you're streaming music and you miss vinyl LPs or CDs, or you're just still into vinyl or CDs, as I am. Actually, I'm into vinyl, CDs and streaming. But if you're into the cover art as much as you are the music, I am, then you might be interested in this book. It's called Art Sleeves and it's by DB Burkeman. Now it isn't the usual sort of mic rock, hypnosis revisionism. It's not like classic album covers rendered into a coffee table book, although this is hardback. It is a coffee table book. It sells for the same price as a vinyl LP. It's about 35 euros. But it covers album cover art and single cover art as executed by artists. So there's plenty of Peter Saville. There's plenty of David Shrigley. There is it 23 Envelope who did a lot of the 4AD stuff? So it's very much artist based. It's laid out in alphabetical order. So if you go to H, you'll find Damien Hirst's cover that he did for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And there's also cassette sleeves done by Daniel Johnston. So it's a really interesting book. It's beautifully laid out and it's just great. You just sit back and listen to some music and just browse this book and remind yourself of how important cover art is to the sort of music listening or music enjoyment process. Another essential accessory. We've all seen photos of this, haven't we? 2 monstrous loudspeakers, a double width hi-fi rack with amplifiers, phono stage, power supply for the phono stage, preamplifier, CD player, DAC, all laid out. Maybe there's some diffusion or some absorption panels on the front wall. And then there's nothing else. There's no pictures on the walls. There's no plants. There's no trinkets. There's no personality. This is just a very plain, I'm just here to listen to music kind of room. That is absolutely not my kind of listening room. For me, a room has to serve as a place you can sit without any music playing before you can enjoy music, which is why I have plants here, which is why I have lots of albums and books and stuff that's still yet to be reattached to the wall since the renovation. I also have a Mathmos lava lamp here. I think this is called the Astro. It sells for 98 euros. It's from the UK. It is made the same way that it was made like 60 years ago. And that to me is something I add to this room to give it more of a comfortable feeling without music playing, because it's part of who I am. It's like part of my personality. And I think music rooms should show off the owner's personality. You know, they should have plants and photos on the wall and just stuff other than the gear that is used to play back music. Not everybody's going to agree. If you don't, if you just think it should just be a plain room with just hi-fi gear and nothing else, then let us know in the comment section below. Also let us know if you don't think that way and you think as I do. But this lava lamp is essential to my room. And I bought this on Amazon, I believe, but they have a whole store. Matt must do on Amazon, and there's a whole range of different styles of lava lamps. And it's very solidly made. It's very heavy. It's also quite warm. So in the summer I turn it off, but in the winter, it just takes the edge off the room, a bit like a Class A amplifier would. So for me, this is another essential accessory. My next essential accessory is actually on the face of it a little bit ridiculous because it's a plant roller for putting heavy plants on. It's made by a company called Wagner, or Wagner if you're British or American. It's called the Maxi Grip. And it's essentially like a piece of solid wood with a handle and 4 casters on the bottom, and on top is a very grippy rubber surface. Why would I recommend you get this? Well, if you have your records stored in Kallax units, as I have here and over there and sort of behind me, you know that if you want to move them around the room or move them to a different room, you have to take the records out, move the Kallax unit, and then put the records back. And it's a pain. It's a pain in the butt to do that. What I wanted to do was find a way to move these Kallax units around without having to take the records out and put them back. IKEA used to make a set of casters that were on the either end of a metal bar that would go underneath the Kallax unit, but they've discontinued that. But this plant roller is 38 centimeters by 38 centimeters, the square. And it is basically the exact fit for the underside of a 2x1 IKEA Kallax unit. So what I've done is I've stuck these plant rollers, they're about 40 bucks each, on the underside of all of my Kallax units. Now they tend to work best on the 2x1s, not the 2x2s, because if you have two underneath a 2x2 unit, the rollers that sit in the middle tend to fight each other when you're moving it around. But on a 2x1, it moves freely, beautifully, and two of the wheels have locking mechanisms, so once you've got it in place, you can lock it down permanently. And this was a purely accidental find. And I've bought 6 of them so far. And I think eventually I'm going to convert all of my vinyl storage to 2x1 Kallax units and just have these plant rollers underneath all of them, so I can move everything around super easily. This is such a great find for me, I think, anyway. I don't know about availability outside of Germany because I bought these on Amazon DE, but maybe you can find a plant roller that is 38 centimeters by 38 centimeters or thereabouts from a hardware store or on Amazon in your territory. But yeah, once again, another essential accessory. That's 5 accessories. Here's a bonus because I still get asked about it pretty much in every video that it appears. I'm talking about this thing over here. This is a doorstop, and I put it on many of my sort of lighter pieces of gear to stop the heavy cables from dragging it off the back of the unit to keep it in place. But also because it makes things look visually a little bit more interesting. I think so, and I know many of my audience members think so because I see a constant stream of photos on Instagram of people who have these doorstops in place. It only costs you €9 to try it out for yourself. €9. That's 3 cups of coffee. But I think it's, for me, I can't live without them because I just put them down on things just to stop them being pulled away, to keep them in place, to make things look just a little bit different, I guess. It all plays into the aesthetic appeal of your hi-fi gear, and I use these for that purpose. I do have an extra heavy one actually, which is on the floor on top of my Xiaomi Mi Box S down there because it keeps flipping up because of the weight of the HDMI cable. Keeps getting pulled up, so keep it on the floor. I have a really super heavy one. That's €30, but you don't have to spend that kind of money if you don't want to. But just so people know, it's a doorstop, it's nothing fancy, and it does a very specific job. And for me, it's essential. Anyway, if you like this video, please hit the like button. Where is it? Down there. If you like my attitude towards high-end audio, in that it's not just about how stuff sounds, but it's the whole scene, it's the complete picture of the way that we listen to music, the way we live, then please subscribe to this channel. And as always, thank you ever so much for watching.